Hey friends, welcome. Day 28 of the Earth Month Stitch Along. This is it. 2 more days after this. We're all done. Close to done. I don't know if you've seen my stories today, but I decided to give myself a morning of artistic infusion. I highly recommend that everyone gives themselves some artistic infusion on a regular basis. Dr. Natalia is telling you to give yourself an art infusion. And that means seeing other people's art. I ran off to a library exhibit this morning and a museum exhibit. And I was back home within an hour and a half. It was just quick, but I needed to see it because sometimes you just need a little push. So, I don't know if I'm influenced by what I saw today, but I'm going to make an artwork from this plastic bag today. So, let's get going. All right, so what you see right there is my little plastic piece of 5x4 fabric, plastic bag. And what I'm going to use is this bag. And I'm going to cut off this section right here. Just very, very simply. It has a lovely red color. And it has a fun pattern. And I am going to, for stitching, I'm going to use the thread that I had left over from yesterday. And all I'm going to do is make this into a fun little flower. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to fold. I'm going to fold the other way. And again, this is not about precision. This is about just fun. So, all I'm going to do is I'm going to start by stitching it down right here, like this, and like this. I think actually I'll make a little crisscross stitch right here. That's what we'll do. Now, sometimes the plastic is a little stretchy when you're pulling through with the needle, so it makes these stretchy, snotty things. But I think that's just fine. Okay, so I did that. Now, it's just attached right there. And now I'm going to spread it around a little bit. I want to see the other portions of it. And then I'm going to stitch the sides down. So, it's just a fun little flower. It's just an experiment with your imagination. Nothing too elaborate, just stitching through plastic, adding a little fun into life, and learning how to work with things. Okay, so I've stitched it down to that side, and I want to make sure that this stays a little poofy. So holding it down, I smushed it up, because, that's a very technical term, smushing things into place. And now I'm just going to stitch it into place. Just your basic little running stitch. And I am going to make a little V into here, this way. And then I'm going to come back and try to go through the same hole and make a little V into here. And then I think, you know what, I'll make a connection from the underneath so you can see it a little bit. Just like that. And now I'm just going to stitch this part down with just 2 stitches. And then go back down this side. And it's just a fun little flower-like creature. Let's see, maybe I'll add something to it. My thread is coming to an end, so let me just finish that off right here. And I'm going to tie it off in the back using one of these stitches to go through once, twice, And there we go. Okay, so now that I have this smushy, funny looking flour, I kind of like it. I'm going to see if I can smush it around some more. All right, so now I have some more of that thread, but in a single strand. Actually, no, it's not single strand. It's 2 strands. So let me just quickly thread my needle and add a few more stitches. And I use any kind of thread. This happens to be a regular embroidery kind of floss, but you can use just about anything. There we go. And I like to use Sashiko needles for no other reason that I think that they're well made and they have a really nice eye that's usually free of any barbs, and it's easy to stitch through. Okay, so here's my little thing. I think I'm just going to add a couple of French knots right through the middle here to add to this little flower. 2, 3. Let's make them big French knots. 3. Oops. Oh, there we go. I pulled all the way through. And 1 more. And 1, 2, 3. And in. And I think 1 more at the bottom here. I think 3 is usually a good number. I'm a fan of odd numbers when it comes to compositions. There we go. All right. There's my silly, fun little flower. Let's see, do I want to manipulate it a little more? Maybe I do. All right, so let's add a few little stitches here. Make them small, just to tack things into place and to add a tiny bit of detail. All right, so this flower may not be the most beauteous thing out there, but it is something that used some repurposed material, made a fun little artwork. And by the way, this is so wonderful and easy to do with kids. They love crafting things out of just about anything. So why not a free plastic material? Okay, there we go. So here's my little flower for the day. Let me just tie off my thread. And there we go. Okay. All right, so this is for day 28. Just a fun little silly flower out of a bread bag. So thanks for joining me today, and I'll see you all tomorrow.